It is, in reality, it is extremely difficult to fight a swordsman, right? Especially a qualified and very skillful one. But that's not the purpose. The purpose is to learn to adapt to a very high risk situation. So in other words, if you imagine a person coming at you with a sword, you will get out the way, and you will try to position and maneuver. And this is where the concept and principle of Tai Sara, to be able to maneuvering and fighting plays a crucial role in how to outflank and how to outwit your opponent. Position is always important. How do you position yourself? You know, and that's why you see in terms of the science of fighting, the best method of entering, the best concepts and principle comes from Jujutsu and Aikijutsu and Aikido. They have the best method. They thrive on that. They thrive on that, you know, in terms of how to enter and how to enter safely. That's why you listen. You know, and how to enter safely, how to enter into an opponent, you know, where you're not in harm's way, right? So to imagine, so the point here is not the fact that you'll fight a swordsman, but the same thing what he was doing with the hambo, with the baton, and you be able to at least move and time it, you know, and then coordinate your movement, you know, with the strikes here, because quite naturally, the strikes are going to be consistent, you know, and frequent. They're not going to just be one, you know, they're not going to follow a sequence of patterns. It's going to be flurries, boom, 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 you know, striking here. The idea is that how can I gain the advantage of stepping in when he makes that one? Because, you know, in the physics, he's got to come back, even though he's swift. There's a point where you can enter, you know, and that means you have to have that keen sense. Yeah, keen sense you have, and then fighting it's a matter of seconds, minimal matter of seconds. It's just like a person who pulls a gun, right, and shoots a gun or whatever. There are minimal seconds in fighting. You know, we're dealing with fighting, you know, in the sequences and you know, the intricate parts. We're breaking it down. But then at some point we put it together. So the mechanics of movements you have to know first before you can, you know, implement and execute the techniques the way you see fit, you know. So you know, our movements are not spontaneous, just, you know, by chance. There's no chance. Our movements, everything is scientific. You know, the way I move, the way I position myself, you know, the way I enter, the way I move to the side, the line, whatever, it's scientific. It's all based on principles, on concepts, right? So when we're talking, now I know the young people, sometimes it may be over your head, but we'll demonstrate. So the point of the person pulling sword. Now, the samurai, he had perfected pulling the sword. His pull would, when Aijitsu is the art of pulling, aido, right? And he perfected it by his draw. His draw would be a strike. He would have had already struck, right? They perfected it in that fashion, right? So it won't be that, you know, the setups are classical moves in terms of doing the technique, you know, and applying the technique in a sequence of patterns. So he would here, jogo, up, you know, upwards, chudan, jidan, moves here. But when he drew, that's why when you see, sometimes you see the samurai, when you see the people who are into kenjutsu, the art of sword, you see them draw quick and then come back, because that's a strike. They're not drawing and then setting up. They've already struck. And they perfected that. Samurais perfected that because that was the nature of trying to evolve into a state where how can I best my opponent, you know, at the draw. And it used to be draw, and then now because samurais are so skillful, I gotta best him at the draw, and that's what it did. So here we're dealing with basically posturing, you know, on guard. So he draws from here, you see. Now, I'm in his path from here. Now he doesn't know what I'm gonna do, but that draw tells me he's coming over here. Now he would have already attacked from that position, right? He wouldn't, there's no pause. There's no pause in his attack, you know? He would have, from that to after he drew, he would have already attacked from here. And I'm basically deliberately in the path of his weapon. Now, you don't see me as he draw move, because then now he understands where I'm moving from. You see? So just as the samurai perfected, you know, the art of drawing and striking, you know, the ninja perfected the art of taijutsu, you know, and that's the art of maneuvering and posturing, positioning and center, and understand. He understood the nature of the samurai. Most of the time, the samurai's position was upright. And when ninjas introduced their form, the samurai was not used to low forms, you know, crouching moves and so forth. They're used to confronting their opponent, and this was honorable to meet your opponent upright, right? And that's the way they fought. But see, the ninjas knew that his opponent was a formidable opponent. He was a very skillful opponent, so he wasn't going to match his opponent with his skills, right? And that's what you learn in the street. You don't fight that person's fight, you know? You draw him into your fight, in your position, right? So so his position, like overhead, come, strike, that's your position. And now I'm in his path, his zone of attack from here. Now, the ninjas perfected the fact of almost waiting to the last minute, but it's not like waiting to the last minute, because the samurai was swift. So he understood the anatomy of, you know, the body and body structure and body maneuvering. So he understood what was going to move first, what would give off the samurai's movement, how he would telegraph, because there's certain positions he would telegraph. And that's why, if you notice, the samurai wore hakamas, like the sisters wear, right? To hide their step. You wouldn't see, because the hakama would hide their step, their movement, you know, the feet. You know, you may see him do this, but you won't see him step in, because the hakama hid those movements, right? So the concept, people don't know why the ninjas pivoted and spin, because spinning, you know, reciprocal moves here. It allows you, like if he comes in, you see, it allows me to position myself clear. And see, it allows me to step back, right? So that's what the nature of spin. I'm not, and when I spin here, I'm not turning my back, as some people might say, well, if you turn, he's turning. No, I'm not. You know, you won't see my back. Tell me where the back of a circle is. Does a circle have a back? Right. Huh? Right. It doesn't have a back, right? A square does in physics, right? Geometry, right? Triangles, they have sides. Circles don't have sides, right? Am I right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, that's the point. Now, imagine what we're doing is humanizing physics and geometry. We're humanizing it to fit our pattern, the human pattern of movement. So understand, when he comes here, you see here, you see how I can move, and see as I move, I'm stepping behind here, but I'm not just waiting. Now I'm at his weakest point, his back. And that's before he even realizes. Yeah, you come fast. Right? You see? I'm right there now. I'm right there, sword position. Hit the sword. Hit. Right? Because he's when he strikes, he sees the target. he sees the target, in his mind, he's going to get the target. Okay? And if you were to, even if you move out, you lateral, don't spit, lateral, here, that's what the samurai would do. So I can't move before time, but I got to move in time. You know, I got to move at the right time. Because the samurai, see, he doesn't pause. Here, stepping. You see? You see, he's keen. Even though it looks like I'm coming down, but I know whoa, here. And then he moves to the side. Right in my zone, huh? So you can't play with him. You can't play with this time. So the ninjas knew that. And that's why they had other means, like throwing smoke, or throwing dust, poison, powder, stuff. You know, he used all the tricks he can. Throwing shurikens or shakens, right? Creating all types of distractions. Because he knew that the samurai was affordable foe, right? So, I'm coming, you see, from here. Now, you notice I tighten up. Now I turn the sword against him. Hit. And that's what I want to do. Just like Sensei Shihan was showing you, to disarm. You got to get in position to disarm. So you notice when he comes. Now, notice my position here. I'm not stepping on his strongest side. Here, here, right, here. So he's coming. I'm stepping on the weakest side. From here, locking. Right, now, I turn the sword. I don't have to waste time. I don't have to throw him. I just take his weapon from him. That's the point. I take his weapon from him and use it against him. Keep it up. Hit. So, that's the target. Hit. Hit. Right? I come over. And I lock, right? You see? I don't have to waste time. I'm already in the pattern of striking. So I disarm, strike at the same time. Hit. Hit. Right? All right. Now, hit. Right. Wait. Hit. Now I come under. Either way. Now lock. He doesn't have a grip. I don't have to waste time. I use the sword against him. I don't have to throw him. I disarm him from here. All right? So, now you notice here my position. From here, he doesn't know which way I'm going to go. Here. From here. Now, you see, notice I'm in here. Right here. And I lock. He drops the sword. I don't need to take any further. Turn it against him. Okay? Now you remember the first move. I'm here. I could hit. Come fast. Hit. I step. Win. Hit. Hit. I step in. Lock the position. Hit. Once he leaves that grip. Here. I continue. Yep. Yeah. Right across. Right. Hit. The other position. Hit. That's my position. I'm moving. Come quick. You see? I'm up. I turn the sword. Right? So long as I can get his position from here. I see the pattern. I step in. You see? Right.